You're not successful, you're having a hard time, things aren't working out because of you. That's the good news, because now you can change it. You have to believe that there's something that you can do about your situation. It's the effort that you're gonna put to go forward. We all know that the best life to live is a life by strategy. The thing that I like about the newsletter the most is right now, I know from past experiences about 3% of the people that you generate leads are ready to do something today. 20% are gonna be ready to do something in the next 12 months. So it allows you to communicate, build a brand, and ultimately it's gonna help you increase conversion. Something I wanna point out, just kind of as a pro tip, when you do a physical newsletter, I always use an envelope, and I either are, depending on the segment of the audience, if it's going to my past clients, I would probably find someone virtually or in my community that could hand address every one of the envelopes, or I pay a third-party service. If you have 300, 400 past clients, I think that's a nice touch. If it's unconverted leads, people that I have not met, then I'm gonna probably use more of a handwritten font, but then I'm gonna maybe have someone jot something or circle something on the actual envelope. Maybe, for instance, I'll give you an example. We gave away movie tickets, right? And it would say, receive free movie tickets on the actual envelope. Anything that you can do like that is gonna help you get your open rate. But again, these are just different things to help get attention. You're wanting to get the attention of your target audience. That's what's gonna help you stay in front of them, get your messages in front of them, and ultimately one of the best things that newsletters are gonna do, it's gonna help people actually get to be able to consume the offers, the things that you can do to help in your community, to help them whether they wanna buy, sell, or invest. And the last thing I wanna let you know is you always want to address it to a person. You don't wanna do current residents, that's not personalized. You want it to be, if it's a past client, let's say their name is Jennifer and Bill. You know, you want it to say Bill and Jennifer, or you might want it to say just Jennifer, right? So you wanna personalize that communication when you're sending it out physically. And again, there's mass communication, there's mass personalized communication, there's personalized communication, and there's one-on-one communication. And all of those things are relevant because, for instance, another example is if I'm using it as a door hanger and there's a neighborhood of 500 homes, I might knock on the door, and when they answer, I might introduce myself, give them the newsletter, and then invite them to join my online community for that neighborhood that's also featured in that newsletter, where the entire newsletter is the same content that's going out to my unconverted leads, but it just has a customized header for that neighborhood. So let's talk about the actual components of a newsletter. Whether it's digital or physical, you're gonna have a header. That's where you're really gonna have your brand, your value proposition. So for us, it's gonna say something around a proven system to sell your home for up to 18% more than the methods used by traditional agents. Or it might have a guaranteed sale that we're promoting, whatever we're promoting with our personalized brand. Then it's gonna have a little table of content. So it's gonna say something like inside today's issue, with a few little bullet points that are gonna point out exactly what's in there. And then my anchor article is going to be basically a few paragraphs, maybe a half a page in a Word document to give you some context. And it's gonna really explain to the end person that's the recipient of the newsletter kind of what's going on. It's not gonna be about real estate. It's just gonna be like, hey, here's what's going on in my life. So for instance, let's say if I recently moved to Puerto Rico, I recently had an event. If I talked about the event, I'm gonna talk about the hotel, how beautiful it was, maybe some of the things I learned, the people I met, the food I ate, you know, things to really personalize it. And that's a key point. That was a big aha moment for me because again, this concept, I actually taught this concept at a conference that I did years ago, probably 5 or 6 years ago. And the reason I did it is one of my mentors, who is probably one of the best marketers alive, he swears by his entire business being built on a newsletter. Again, back to the structure. So we have the inside table of contents. For me, I always like to use a picture. Every issue that I put out, I had a picture of the month. That picture of the month could be anything from a testimonial, a new person joining my team. It could be maybe a family trip, an experience. But you know, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. It just creates some interest. It brings people in. And then on the footer of the newsletter, what I always did was I put my primary call to action, right? And so that could be find out what your home is worth. You know, you could use keywords about market shifting. Has the equity of your home went down or up? Or it could say thinking about selling, debate your tax appraisal, whatever you're wanting to do. So for me, the newsletter was really only a 4-page newsletter, front and back, and then 2 inside. And on the inside, I would always solicit a vendor. And a lot of the times, for example, one Halloween, there was a place that was giving away free pumpkins, you know, and so we would promote, get a free pumpkin, right, when you buy another pumpkin. And so we would go to those individuals, ask them for permission to feature them in our newsletter, and then we would, again, sometimes we'd sell those spots, or we'd offer and bundle those spots into other vendor packages that help liquidate some of our other marketing. Because remember, host-beneficiary relationships, there's a lot of people that benefit when you do a real estate transaction. We rifled off a few of those names. So a newsletter helps bring value to your vendor partners. Now, I want to talk about, you know, really some of the types of content that can be in your newsletter. There's really 3 types of content. You have relevant content, semi-relevant content, and non-relevant content. And this is really going to probably throw you for a loop like it did for me. The thing that you're gonna want in the newsletter, 60% of it is gonna be non-relevant content. That might be something going on in your community, right? So let's say it's a April issue, and there might be something, you could go online, look at the top 10 things to do in Frisco, Texas. If you have children, you could look at that article, you could summarize it, you could highlight those things. That's gonna be really non-relevant. A relevant article would be something about real estate specifically. Maybe you sold a home and you want to feature the home sold in the neighborhood for the issue that you're using as a farm tool, or maybe you're trying to break into the luxury market and you want to feature the luxury home sales that your office did because you don't have a lot under your belt, but you want to layer in that proof. And so let's say you take 7 of those homes, you take the average day on the market, and you say, these homes sold on average under 32 days, right? And so you might have, a market overview, a little bit of proof. I think the semi-relevant content is anything that's gonna bridge the gap between a little bit about real estate in the community, a little bit about your perception or point of view on the topic. Relevant is gonna be very specific to real estate, what's going on in interest rates. But the most important content is gonna be the personal content, stuff about you. So, you know, that's gonna be in my opening article. There might be something that I'm doing like a contest for kids. I might have a contest for kids that has a QR code, scan the QR code, go download this picture, color it, drop it off at my house. We're gonna be giving away a free $200 gift card, right? Those are great things to build deeper relationships. Again, in the things that are personal content are gonna be things that are just engaging with you and the client. Maybe you rented out a movie theater with your lender and you wanna promote that and you have only 54 tickets, right? Those are gonna be the personal side of the stuff. Maybe there's a quote that you like. I've always liked layering in my favorite quotes. It's easy to come up with 12 quotes a year and layering those in. I just know that I've been on listing appointments where people have seen a book that I'm recently reading and they have the book on their counter and they said, I heard about this book in your newsletter, I've read it. And next thing you know, we're having a conversation about a book by Jay Abraham, Getting Everything You Want Out of Everything You Got. It was a book that I read, featured it in my newsletter because I was reading the book, it was top of mind, and next thing you know, it brought value to my audience. And one of the things I want to wrap up on is the most important is going to be the calls to action. Any of my calls to action, I'm gonna have personal URLs, I'm gonna have tracking 800 numbers, you know, anything that I can use to know that that person, when they've actually converted that, because a lot of the times you'll generate a lead on Facebook, but you might convert them from your newsletter, and you need to know that. You know, what is the secondary or what is the additional source they came from? Because without that newsletter, that contact would have decayed over time and maybe went with one of your competitors. So a newsletter, again, it's gonna be amazing. And the most amazing part that I found is that in today's world, once you generate that content, you can repurpose the content. You can repurpose the content on Facebook. You can actually take the article, turn it into a blog. You can take the article, you can build it into bullets and turn it into a YouTube video. You can actually take that YouTube video and chop it up and put it into a short or a reel. You can take the actual article and use it as a post with an anchor link to the video or to the e-version of your newsletter by putting it on your Facebook business page. The goal is it helps you become what I would consider as the digital president, being everywhere. It helps you learn the discipline of content marketing. The best part about content marketing is as consumption goes up, trust goes up. And as trust goes up, people are now predisposed to want to do business with you for who you are, not what you do. And I believe you rather have a business where you're attracting clients instead of chasing them, because that's what ultimately is going to let you live the best life, which I think is going to be a life by strategy.